Hello, guys. Welcome to the fourth edition of Fstop Live, a show where Godox SA has put together a whole bunch of photographers, videographers, creators that are based in the South African industry that we feel needs to get some attention shined on them. So today we have an awesome guest. He's based in Durban. He goes by the name of Joel the Creator. His real name is Joel Mundie. He's actually an awesome creator. He's actually put out some really good stuff. He's worked with some really big brands, and he's got some really awesome work that's currently out there. So I just wanted to obviously take the time so we can obviously spend some time with him, get to know him, get to know what his creative processes are like, exactly what goes into obviously his style of photography, and the importance of obviously marketing and the many subjects that we are going to go through. Okay, so stay tuned. I'm actually just about to get him in now. If you're tuning in, please drop us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. I'm a big fan of shout outs. I'd love to give shout outs. So if you just drop me a hi, let me know where you're watching from, I will give you a shout out. If you do have any questions, don't feel shy, please. This is a very relaxed session. It's not something that's too serious. So if you'd like to ask us questions, okay, we've got Brighton tuning in from Fstop, Cape Town. Thank you, Brighton, for watching. If you do have any questions for Joel or for myself, please drop us a comment, drop us a question. Please share this, like it, let your people know that you're watching this live. Okay, so introducing to you, Joel Mundie. Hey, Joel.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
How are you doing, bro?
I'm very well. How are you, Sherwin?
I'm good. So we were just talking just now about how I think it was maybe last year or 2 years ago sometime, you interviewed me on your live session on Instagram.
Yeah,
And
I had
now
a feeling you could. I had a feeling you're gonna throw me back on the hot seat.
and now I got you in my session. So how are you doing, bro?
I'm really good, eh? It's been a pretty good day. Nice, relaxed Friday. Enjoying the humidity in Durban. So yeah, pretty exciting, man. And you? How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a bit of a hectic day, as you can see. We actually moved the entire live out by 1 hour. I'm grateful to all of the people who are still watching. I'm grateful to you for obviously making the time for us, even though we had to move out the interview by an hour. But so far it's good. I'm actually relaxed now, so I can chill a little and get to speak to you, the awesome Joel
Sweet,
the Creator. Joel the Creator. Yeah, I want people to
sweet.
know exactly who Joel the Creator is. So how did the name Joel the Creator come out?
Oof. If I had a penny for anyone, for every time someone asked me that question,
Well,
Joel the.
I'm friends with you for a while now, but I'm like, wait, Joel the Creator, but it's so cool. I wish I had a name like Sherwin the photographer, like or something like that. But I'm just Sherwin, bro.
Wow. Trust me, it's not that amazing. It actually started off something as I'm not sure if you know how Apple started. Basically, they sat in the car on the way to a meeting and they said, basically, okay, let's just name it Apple. If we come up with something better, we'll change it. So that's
You change
basically the
it.
concept behind. Basically, that's somehow how Joel the Creator started. I basically was with this company. I was an ambassador, and every single ambassador that was chosen at that time, it was I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, we had to create an alias to our name. So anyone
Mm,
who had a name, they basically had to just create like a different alias to represent who they are. So I
mm,
pondered for a day what it would be. Then I remembered I'm in a few different fields, one of them being construction, one of them being the creative field, photography, videography, and etc. So I just said, wait, I'm creating things, creating a lot of stuff. Why can't I just
mm.
be Joel the Creator? As simple as that.
Yes,
And
yes.
for some reason, it just stuck,
Stuck.
and people opened up very warmly to it because
Mm,
it basically embodied the things that I do. So yeah, that's
mm.
basically how Joel the Creator started.
No, I love the name, bro. I love the name. So that even prior
Thank
to
you.
us meeting and stuff, I used to be like, "Hey, Joel the Creator, what an awesome name!" But it's a good name and it's stuck. As you can see, it's stuck. But before we go into the hectic questions, obviously, I want to ask you, and obviously, the people are gonna ask you. Um, I've got some quick fire questions that I want to ask you. Okay, so
Sure.
just so as I ask you the question, you can just choose either or. All right, and you can't choose anything out of the questions. All right. So if I
Can
give
I?
you a option of two things, you have to choose one of those options.
Okay.
Have to.
Throw it at me.
Okay.
Throw it at me. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, so from what you're doing, I know you've got a large skill set. So what would you choose, photography or video?
You have to start with the hardest one.
Choose one.
Photography.
Choose one. Photography. Durban or Cape Town?
I feel this is very unfair, but I'm going to choose Durban. Durban is home.
Okay, so we're in the matrix. Okay, what are you going to choose, the red pill or the blue pill?
The red pill is the one that reveals the truth, right?
The truth.
Red pill.
Red
all
pill.
day, every day.
Canon or Nikon?
Sony. Canon.
Exactly.
Canon.
I knew you were going to say Canon. Because if you said Nikon, I was just going to cut the live right there. I was just going to.
Yeah, right there. I would have cut the live myself.
Roti or bread?
Roti.
Roti. Exercise or yoga?
Exercise.
Okay. Liverpool or Manchester City?
No.
You have to.
Manchester City.
Strobe or natural light?
Natural light or strobe?
Strobe. Softbox or beauty dish?
Softbox.
Hot weather or cold weather?
Cold weather.
Okay, before we proceed, I just want to throw this up, all right? You know that guy we spoke about just now with Manchester City? He's already excited. He's like, yes, City, look at that.
You're the legendary Kenlan.
Okay, last one. Thanos or Loki?
Thanos.
I think Thanos got a lot going about him that you may not. You have to try and understand. The man had
Character
a point,
development
bro.
was amazing. Yep, he did.
Yeah.
He did. Amazing.
Okay, so when did you get into photography? How long ago?
So my journey began in the mid 2010s. I had a camera that purchased in 2013 or 2014. It was a Sony Alpha 58. That became like my go-to camera, and I kept experimenting with it. And then I had a very good friend who's a fashion photographer, and I think started off going for automotive shoots on my own. From there, I realized that I wanted to grow, and I think like a lot of times you wonder what makes you grow, whether it's to shoot the same thing and try and get it differently. But I felt like if I experimented and went for something completely different to what I was shooting, something more of the lines of a softer feel, because cars sometimes can be smooth, of course, but it's a very different lighting scenario. It's a very different creative scenario. I started working on fashion, and my professional company started in 2017. I started loving the way that I was growing, and I started working in church as well as a volunteer. And at my church, we do amazing, stunning productions there, especially with live streaming. So with the photography there, getting my low light experience, being in fashion, getting that softer experience, and being in cars, getting that harsher experience, it kind of like leveled the platform where I was able to like grow in like different departments. And I think that's basically where my journey started. So that was in 2017. That's when Joel Media started, which is my company, and I kept on growing from there. And different branches opened up. You always go into studio. You're going to get clients who's going to ask you to do weddings, and one way or another, I'm not really going to go into the whole story, but yeah, you basically just keep on growing and you experiment with different lighting, and yeah, it's quite an interesting journey.
No, but I think it's been an amazing journey, bro, because you've actually come really far. I think even for the people at the Durban circuit, we acknowledge, we've seen your work, and we know you by name, bro. Your work is amazing. And just to let the people know out there, what brand do you shoot?
Sony, all day, every day.
Basically, to be like Alpha.
I was gonna wear the cap, but I just said let me just leave it and let's be subtle today.
I was gonna ask you, where's the cap? There's no shirt. We need to get some of that. What's this branded gear in there, bro?
Yeah, becoming much more chill these days.
Yeah, but no, I've actually seen quite a bit of your work, bro. As I said, I think prior to actually me getting involved in photography, I also did follow you with your work and stuff like this. So, with regards to your work, bro, yes. So actually,
Thank you.
the viewers are gonna get a chance to obviously see some of your work. I'm gonna put it out there, and we'll discuss some images before obviously we go into further things. But what is it like to be a creative based in Durban? I know personally how it feels. I know the market as well, but on your end, how do you feel being a creative based in Durban?
I, I tend to watch the growth patterns in my own life, in my career, and if I look at the way that overseas markets are going, because a lot of the stuff from the northern continent sometimes gets trickled down to us, and then we obviously take it in our own way, and we keep working like that. So I think working in different industries kind of keeps it kind of keeps it exciting because content creation is always evolving, especially in the social media aspect. Um, I think I still stay true to my style of shooting, and I think that's what you can hope for anyone who's a creative in Durban. You want to have your own style and your own take on things. And I think as you may grow, for example, things might shift around where you have to try and match algorithms on Instagram and TikTok and etc. But if you stay true to what your work is, people do notice that. Like, I mean, for you, I can just go onto Instagram, for example, and if I see an image before even seeing your name, I'll know it's your image because you obviously got a niche style to you. So I
Yeah,
think like being in creative in Durban. Durban has a very good platform because there's a lot of shooters in Durban. I think recently we've realized that with all the festivals and stuff that's happened, where all the camera guys and stuff got together, it's such a cool community, and always people are willing to help out and teach, and especially you with all of your workshops. So it's been pretty amazing to be in Durban and just to continue shooting and learning new things.
I think one thing maybe when I first started photography, I noticed there was a little difference when it came to Durban as a city or as a let's say photography community. It wasn't much on the map as Johannesburg or even Cape Town.
Definitely,
Like
definitely not.
if you ask anyone for fashion photography,
Mhm.
Cape Town is one of the first cities they'll speak about. And then you got people
Yes,
like
yes,
cities like Joburg and stuff like that. As far as
yeah.
like the festivals that they have, or branded festivals or photography instances like this, where they have get-togethers and stuff. You didn't find much of that in Durban. But I was actually
Mhm.
quite excited when the Sony Alpha Fest actually came through to Durban,
Yes,
and
yes,
turnout was actually really amazing. Eh? It actually worked out really nice. It was nice seeing you there as well,
yeah.
Mr. Sony.
Mm. I think even besides the fact that they actually had all those tools and stuff that to try it, I think the fact that we had something small, local that we could actually attend and actually be a part of, because for creative it's very difficult because I mean there's so many different places we can go. Obviously, coffee shops and stuff. We'll find each other around lurking, getting our morning espressos, and before we go off to a shoot. But it was nice to link up all together with all the common goal of just learning more and connecting with one another. Like, I mean, there's so many fruitful friendships and stuff that started at the Alpha Fest, and it continues to be so. Yeah, especially in Durban.
So I would say you are currently happy with the community that's in Durban, especially amongst your friends in the industry.
Yes, I have a pretty close network of friends and stuff in the industry that we continue working together often. Obviously, I'm always willing to meet and connect with more people, but it's been pretty amazing just growing in the industry in Durban and connecting with as much people as possible. It's always nice to go into your DMs and just see new people come about, but I've been pretty happy with the community because everyone is always willing to learn, especially myself. I think the biggest thing for me is I listen more than I talk, and people don't see it, but those hours on YouTube is always learning. It's always a learning journey for me, even late at night. The same way that if I had to ask people questions on social media, hey, how did you get this shot? How did this focal length change things? I think like just learning about those things from different people in the industry has been an amazing journey, and I'm glad that people are around to keep on showing you and training you, and you're never too old to be taught. Yeah.
Of course, I strongly say this, and in fact, I say it a lot. The only time you stop learning is when you're dead. So if you stop learning, you're going to be dead. You'll be either dead to the industry or dead to change. There's still so much that all of us can learn, and
Powerful.
a person that's teachable. You have to maintain a teachable spirit. You have to be able to be teachable, because if you're not teachable, you become haughty, and yeah, you don't listen to people. And bro, there's so much that we can learn every day. Even
Yes.
my kids teach me some stuff as well, and I look at them like, wait, man, are you seriously teaching me this? But yeah, uh, I remember some time ago we spoke, and I know you also said it now as well. You are in construction, so
Yes.
what is your full-time vocation?
Oof, this full-time question is such a difficult question to ask and to answer as well. The I think the notion of being full-time is just trying to encapsulate your time with productivity. So the main thing for me is ever since I was young, I wanted to be as efficient and growing as much as I could as possible every year. I just want some growth, and I think a lot of people, especially you, would even know too. In business, it's not just climbing up ladders; it's a ladder up, the ladder falls, you fall with the ladder, and you come back
True.
up. The journey like that, um, especially with studying construction, because I did pretty well in construction, in fact, and I think just
Oh
balancing
yeah,
with what you want to do.
we have
Yeah,
to say that. We have to say that. This is also something. Congratulations on your results. I know you passed cum laude. Yes,
thank you,
congratulations.
thank you,
Give
thank
him a
you,
round of applause. We're proud of
thank
you,
you
bro.
so much, Sean.
Apart from your obviously your work ethic, and you been in the photography industry and stuff like that, people must understand that life doesn't completely revolve around what we do as creatives. There's so many sides of us that people don't really understand. In your case now, as
Yes,
you're a quantity surveyor, am I right?
quantity surveyor. Yes, yes.
Yes, I remember. You're a quantity surveyor, and you did actually really well with your studies recently. Congratulations on that.
Thank you,
But you can carry on
thank you
what you were
so much,
saying. You
Sean.
can carry on, bro.
Yeah, it's actually a very important fact that you mentioned, because I think when you have that direction and you drive and you have a purpose in mind, I think shooting for many years, I wanted to choose between the two. And then I realized something about myself. I realized that the more energy that I put into actually doing amazing in what I'm doing, rather than figuring out which path I'm going to choose, that's when everything started clicking, because my work wasn't always great, my studies weren't always great. But the moment I put a lot of effort, instead of putting 50-50 into either or, I'm putting 100% effort in whatever I'm doing and just managing my time better. That's when things started going forward. Like I was studying part time and I was getting the stuff done, especially while I was doing shoots at the same time. And I think growing in both areas and just always being able to like work hard and keep on focusing on the end goal, that was the main objective for me. So yeah, balancing between that. And also a very important fact that I do want to mention is, as a photographer or videographer or whatever creative field you're in, the one thing that you do have that a lot of people don't understand is that we have a lot of networking. When you are working with different brands, you work with so many different companies that you are exposed to so many different industries. And that's what I took with me. Being in construction, you learn about project management. You can apply that kind of knowledge in your photography business. It'll help you understand situations better. Like for example, in quantity surveying, you got a bill of quantity that's everything to do with the project. You got preliminaries that's not everything to do with the project, but you can account for it. It makes a difference. For example, preliminaries in media would be things that we don't actually count for, like the travel, like hiring of certain equipment and stuff. Just having that knowledge to actually know what you're doing, especially with running a business, I think that really, really helps out. Especially with me, I also started going into marketing, and I also have like a photo booth service as well, and 360 booth. So that knowledge that I had from working with different clients and stuff and learning about marketing, learning about how the industries work, trying to produce images and content for them, actually gave me knowledge in like in a very, very similar Miyagi way, wax on, wax off, and it just like starts to click with you.
No, awesome. And I like what you also said, with regards to putting in obviously the effort. I remember it was back in 2020, there was a whole shutdown. For
Yes,
some
yes, yes.
reason, it was that April of that, when we just went into shutdown. And I told myself, wait, man, what am I going to do now? Because I don't have anything to do. And surprisingly, that was like pretty much the first week. So in fact, just for a week, I was off because the company I was working for, obviously, we would supply stuff to the medical field. So there were certain things that I was designing that was going into the actual, these hospitals that were
Yes.
these hospitals that were taking care of the coronavirus patients and stuff. There was quite a bit of stuff that I designed for those hospitals. And so it was only for like a week or so that I was off, and I ended up going back to work. But for that week, I was sleeping at like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, just spending time on YouTube. And if it was not YouTube, then it was advancing my skill, editing, and trying to get the quality of that editing to be just right. And what you
Yes.
said is you have to be able to put effort into something that you want to obviously become good at. You can't obviously just sit back and expect it to be done. There's so many things
Mm.
that you need to take into consideration as we were just talking about preliminaries now. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually a good point to ponder. So yeah, people, Joel Mundie is a quantity surveyor, not just a creative. So okay, so if you could, what would you like to, or would you like, sorry, if you could, would you like to be a full-time creative?
Of
Full-time
course.
doing it? Hmm.
Of course. There's a lot of industries that I see that are growing. Media wasn't as big as it was. I think even growing up, we didn't even have social media. People would say that yes, we did have social media, but it wasn't used for the same reason. I think when I had Facebook, for example, it wasn't to idolize anything there or to follow any kind of trend. It was just more for me having a cool app to connect with my friends and see friends that I haven't seen in years and just send them a friend request and they pop you a message and you'll just be like, whoa, this is so amazing. It's like instant. And I think that tends to be like one of the main reasons why I say that it's always evolving. And within 10 years from that time to where we are now, we see that it actually changes things in society and the way that we need to work. So because it's ever changing, it keeps us guessing. And because it keeps us guessing, that's why I love it. I love having things that challenge me. And I think like being a creative, that's one of the most that's one of the most valuing things I think I have in my life because to do something and then for people to see what it's worth, something that you create with them and for them to love it, just that alone is so rewarding. And I think like as
Yeah.
a creative, you keep on pushing and pushing and eventually there becomes a time where you just at a it's a very hard thing to explain, but I think it's called some sort of tender curiosity for life, and you're just much more interested in creating rather than actually focusing on what's happening in front of you. It's such a I think was it you who mentioned it that it's a creative release.
Yeah,
I think I
I
remember
have.
we spoke about that a few
Yeah.
years ago, and that even stuck with me in my head. I think I wrote it down in my notes on my phone that you must know what to use your creative release for. And I think just having that creative release actually becomes a very dimensional thing in your life that pushes you on. So yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I would agree that I would definitely go into full time. Yeah.
You touched on something that's very important now, and I know it's completely off topic. It's not something that I obviously discussed with you prior to our interview, but you discussed that
Yeah.
obviously we need to be able to change, with the times. And I agree 110% with you. 10 years ago, the industry that we are in now was completely different. The
Yeah.
equipment was different. The
Yeah.
technology is growing at an astounding rate. I think what technologically what we've been able to achieve in the past 2 years is far more than what we've been able to accumulatively trying to accomplish in the past 10 years. So like now with the introduction of things like AI and stuff like that, the entire landscape is changing beneath our feet, and I think like the photographers that were caught in the dial, the whole digital analog age. I think people are actually getting caught out again now. And you mentioned the importance of being able to change, with the times, understanding the times.
Mm.
Like, for example, I've spoken to some photographers recently, and they're finding it difficult to obviously land clients. But also, and from what I've surveyed of the situation, you find themselves in a position where they offering a slick service. Okay, so this is the service that they offer, and they try and obviously stay to that service that they offer
Mm.
without obviously looking at the market and the landscape and trying to
Mm.
include other services. But
Yeah.
that service that they offer is now dwindling. People no longer want
Mm.
that
Yes.
service. The percentage of people that would use that service 10 years
Yeah.
ago or 5 years ago versus now has substantially decreased. So, how would you say the importance of obviously changing and understanding the landscape, or as you said also, continuously being able to adapt to the situation? How important would you feel that should be? Because I'm sure you have done it in the past few years.
Yes. I think adaptability is very much of utmost importance. For me, for example, I have a few mottos in my life. One of them is love God, love people. And that there was 50% of my work. And let me explain that. I always say, and I've always told people, even my assistants and other shooters that I worked with, I told them that 50% of what you do is actually your content creation. Whether you're shooting a video, you're shooting a photo, once the image is done, I'm not even talking about editing. It's only 50%. The other 50% is your networking, because as good as you can be, um, having a place to show it, not just social media but word of mouth and um, other forms of print, that's basically is where you're going to get your work from. So marketing isn't as disruptive as people sometimes may think it is. It's not just going on TikTok and following trends. It's more of the sense of knowing your niche market and knowing what your market is wanting at this point. You just have to always put yourself in the buyer's shoes. It's as cliche as that. When you're looking at your work, say you're a wedding photographer, if you look at the wedding photographers in your area, you don't look at them and say, okay, how can I do it better? No, you look at them and say, how am I going to do it differently alongside what I've been taught and what I've learned? So, for example, if you're a film photographer, photographers have some of the best compositions. Use that composition. Use that composition to get bookings and stuff that the client would appreciate those kind of styles. If you look at other photographers and stuff, speak to them. Tell them, how can I bring my film type? I think with Fuji cameras, you got the film emulations. How do I bring that work into a very paid kind of platform? And I think that's like the basis of that's the basis of it. I think just adapting to like different environments. I think the film one is very important because I know I do speak to a lot of film photographers who are trying to come back into the industry, and I also know what's changing because I think there's also a lot of vertical content. The way that Facebook and Instagram and TikTok is changing the industry, we basically have to shoot in different platforms. And also, one important thing I do want to mention is don't ever base your creativity on likes and engagement and stuff like that. If you're happy with the image, just post it. If you're happy with the video, just post it. I don't think it matters whether you have engagement or not, because algorithms are always changing. I could get a photo that will go viral. The next photo I post, I expect it to go higher. No, no one even sees it. So that's just the way it works. But I think the authentic part is to remain true and know exactly what you're doing. Doing everything does not help. And I think I learned that very early in the industry where I want to try out everything and I realized no, I like having my market and knowing what I can do. Yeah.
I think understanding one's limitations is very important. I think
Yes.
understanding one's
Yes.
limitations is very important, and exploring those limitations, I would say, to a certain
Yeah.
degree, that you know what you enjoy. Okay, and this is something that I've obviously spoken about previously, and I always suggested to some of the photographers that I help and assist and stuff, understand what bread and butter is, and then understand what your pleasure is. So if you take pleasure in shooting certain things that, like for example, I enjoy fashion photography. I enjoy portraiture. I
Yeah.
love shooting on the beach. So for me, like
Mm,
I would go and do a sunrise shoot, and after sunrise shoot, I would go and have a coffee on the beach. That's what I enjoy. So and then
mm,
like my events and weddings and stuff like that, that's my bread and butter. So I enjoy
yes.
as much as yes, I enjoy shooting it, and I love shooting it. I love weddings, by
Mm,
the way, but I
mm,
enjoy my fashion photography. So I would say also it's very important that people understand um, how things work, and if you
mm.
understand that, you can obviously select what you want to use, and obviously not face burnout. Because like if you're just gonna go and shoot everything all the time, you're gonna end up battling. It's gonna become
Yes.
too much at that point.
Yes. Yes. I agree. Totally. Totally. Burnout is real in this industry.
No, definitely. No, but walk us through your creative processes. What goes into you doing a shoot?
I'm going to give you two different scenarios. Okay, so I'll give you one in photography and one in videography. I think both can interchange and be of help to one another. When it comes to photography, if I'm doing, for example, a creative shoot, usually music really helps me. My family, my dad is a musician and not a paid musician. He loves just playing music, but I think like from the time I was younger, I always loved. Music and growing, and I got some best friends who are musicians, so when I'm listening to music, sometimes it inspires me to do a shoot. And I think that's why I like Instagram Reels currently, because I could just see scenarios for storytelling. I think the main idea is storytelling. So you sit with a shoot, a client tells you, okay, I have a shoot, this is the kind of person I am. Take those values and take whatever they're telling you and look for inspiration. You can go into Pinterest, Google, and just look at different colors of music, and that there will allow you to understand where you're going with the shoot. From the concept stage, you can talk to people, talk to the client, ask them what they're looking for. If they're looking for something light and airy, then obviously it's not going to be moody and dramatic, which is the opposite of that. For example, I'm a moody and dramatic shooter. Usually my clients won't ask me to do something light and airy unless it's really needed. But yes, going to indoor, outdoor locations, scouting for different things, going through color theory. Color theory is so important. Going split
I
complementary
love the
colors,
fact that you
complementary
just
colors.
mentioned that. I love the fact that you just mentioned that. It was actually, I think, about a year and a half
Mm.
ago that I
Yeah.
actually really, really stumbled upon color theory. And
Oof.
the moment I did that, the whole game changed. The whole
Yeah.
game. I
Yeah.
promise you, editing is not as important as color theory. I would say
True.
color theory first, and then you can go into your editing and understanding, how you want to obviously edit. Because it's
Yeah.
pointless having the base colors incorrect and then still
Yes.
trying to edit, obviously get a good picture. Color theory
Yes.
is so
Yes.
absolutely important.
Yes.
While we're at it, okay, if we can just go into some of your pictures quickly. Um,
Sure.
just give me a second. I want to actually just throw this up here. Okay, I think I actually closed it at the time. But you've actually shot some really interesting people, hey? Just give me a
If
second.
you say so.
You've shot some really interesting people.
Yeah.
I think the people need to actually see it, but you shot some really interesting people. There's a stunning image that you've done.
Nadia
Um,
Jafta, that was
yes,
last year sometime, I
Nadia
remember.
Jafta. Yes, this is a stunning shot. How did you light this one
Thank
up?
you.
What light did you use?
This was used with a V1 actually. A V1, bounced it off the ceiling. We had literally 5 minutes to get back downstairs to the movie premiere that she was starring in. So I thought about it and I looked at the location, looked at the composition between the walls, the contrasting between the browns and the grays, and obviously the dress that she's wearing. You couldn't just make her stand up. So what you had to do is you had to make her sit down and actually use something wider to bring more of the scene into the image. And you just use a V1 to light up, and that basically was my shot idea. And then in color grading, I basically tried to emulate what I was seeing in reality, because I do shoot in raw, and I just brought those colors out, made sure the skin tones looked flattering and didn't have any sort of tinge on it, and that's basically how I composed and shot that image. I think the lighting wasn't even that powerful. I went with the V1. I think I had it at 1:64 power. There
So
was some
just that
nice natural
splash,
light
you
behind
just
her.
needed that splash of light.
You just need a splash of light just to fill the harshness of the downlighters in that room, and also having that backlight behind her. The V1 was always gonna not overpower it, but just bring her back into the foreground of the image.
No, this is actually a really nice picture. I've got another few. In fact, I've got quite a few that I like to go through.
Yeah.
This is a stunning. Look at the amount of colors in this.
Yes.
Where did you shoot this, by the way?
This was the Beverly Hills Hotel in Umhlanga. Yes, I remember that shot very clearly. I think there's another one with the green dress as well that was also very interesting, and I think it was in the hotel as well.
Okay, looking at this, the lighting looks like it's coming in from the right-hand side.
Yes.
Looks like what it looks like you use this is off-camera flash, if I'm correct.
Yes.
So in case people
100%.
don't know, first thing you look for is the catch light in the eyes.
Yes.
It can tell the story of how the lighting was. This is actually really nice. What did you use here? And by the way, this is Sashi Naidu, right? This is Shashi Naidu.
Yes, an amazing person, a superstar in our country. It was just a pleasure and an honor of mine, truly, to shoot with the. This is the first shoot that we actually did, and we did about 3 more. In the shoots, this was for a fashion brand called House of S. Amazing clients of mine, and they're just the most incredible people to work with. Very creative as well. We looked at the dress, and we wanted to put some motion to accentuate how the dress flares. As you can see, she's in motion at the moment. So to create motion, we had a very fast shutter, which meant that we had to actually have an off-camera flash to power back on to try and freeze that motion. So I used this is a very funny one. We didn't have much space to carry another flash, so I think I carried a Godox TT685. And I put TT685. And I had a light stand, and inside was diffusing it with an umbrella because I wanted slightly more translucent umbrella, just because I wanted slightly more power into the shots because we were shooting outside as well. So yeah, that's basically how I lit it up. This was shot with a 50mm lens, and just to explain the colors over here, for some reason the shot did very well because people liked the greens and the different shades of green behind it, and also to do the dress. That wall is very familiar, so anyone who's looking to purchase that dress would be able to look at the colors and understand how that green actually works. And that lighting actually made the dress shimmer quite a bit if you look at certain areas of the image. So yeah, that's basically how I composed and shot that image.
No, this is a stunning one. Ooh, look at this. Yes. Tell us more about this image.
This image was shot outside in the garden. I love shooting the backlight images. So backlight images is basically the main key source. For those who don't know, you just basically have the sun or your main source of light behind the subject. So when I saw the streaks of light coming in, I know that I needed to increase my shutter speed and try and get the most out of my lighting that I had. So what I did is I just asked her to pose in a very natural position. The dress and stuff was already set, so we didn't want too much emotion. It was just a very subtle looking image, and I had the same TT685 because I just came outside. TT685, very close range to the umbrella.
TT685.
This was just a TT685, in fact.
Right, so
TT685.
Yeah. So I just want the viewers to actually get that. So this is a picture, and if you look at it, this is absolutely stunning. And it was shot with just a TT685. That's a standard speed light that your thing takes like 4 AA batteries on it, if I'm correct. Yeah, 4 AA batteries it takes.
Yes.
I remember I also own the 685. This was a while ago. Also one of the really nice shoots that I did was with the 685, and it's a beautiful flash, absolutely beautiful flash, and really nice if you want to get into off-camera flash. But this was shot at a TT685. People would look at this and think you have to have a 8600 or something like that. So technique, a lot of technique goes into this, right?
Yes, 100%. You just have to know how to use your power properly with the flash, and basically this is the kind of stuff you can create. And it wasn't the harshest light behind it. As you can see, the sun is quite
Hmm.
gold, and that wasn't edited too much. It was just basically around the time that we were shooting, which was about 3 or 4 p.m. in winter. So the sun was very very warm, and
Yeah.
the harsh shadows were gone at that time. So it made it quite easier for me to shoot. Yeah, I really like that image in that.
I've got a question over here by one of our viewers. He's asking, what editing program do you use? And he's also commenting. He says, "Lovely work, well done." What program do you use for
Hi,
editing?
hi, blushing button. Thank you so much. So I for this image I use Lightroom, and that obviously is my main editing main editing suite. I do use Photoshop now and again when it becomes needed to do like high end retouching, but 90% of my work I would say is Lightroom.
Okay, that's it. Oh, look at this. Tell me TT685 again.
This was, yes, it was I think I also had a V860 with me, but I just connected the TT685. Yes, it was a TT685. I saw the lights before I saw her. So a very important scenario is I always look at what's around the client, and I could see a lot of space there. I could see like different shades of light coming in from the different lamps behind her. So what I did was I asked my assistant to stand on the right of the stairway coming down where she's walking. It's a ramp. And what I did is I tried to get it just to turn slightly. Now, I just want to mention that Shashi is the one of the best models, if not the best model I've worked with. So she just knows the way
I
light and
think I
stuff is
can
forming.
say, I think I can go far as to say she's one of the best models in the country. I'm talking about historically.
Exactly.
uh,
One of the greatest of
Shashi,
all time. And
Shashi
you can just,
actually, she was on I think it was FHM or something like that as well.
yes,
So she's
top
actually
ranked
in the top.
model in the world. Yeah.
She's like literally, I think like she's one of the top models in the world, bro. So this is actually a dream
Yes.
come true, man. Well done, and you did really well
Thank you.
shooting. This is absolutely stunning, absolutely stunning.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that
So
was a very,
a point that you just said now, and it's very important. You have to be able to understand your surroundings. Like
yes.
looking at all of that, that amber tone lighting that you're getting in the back there. You had to have noticed it, and you have to have obviously made a decision to bring out that lighting in your picture. So you have to take the necessary steps to get that sort of lighting. You don't
Mm,
just go and blast your lighting, and you have to balance the available lighting that you're getting in the scenario that you have,
yes.
bring in your lighting to be able to light the subject and balance it out just evenly. And this is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. The TTA 685 with the I'm not sure. I think I had oh yes. So I wanted to use the translucent umbrella, but instead of shooting through it, I actually used it as a bounce. So what I did is instead of shooting through the umbrella, basically you actually flip it over and you can actually bounce off it, which is a very handy tool sometimes when you need just a little bit more of a softer kind of look. So I knew it was going to be too harsh on one side. So when I used it this way, you can see that it filled up the right side of the face as well as the left pretty nicely. And then I just asked her to do a thing, walk with a wine glass in her hand, and I think it came out quite stunning in my opinion. And also setting my camera for ambient didn't take me too long as well, so that helped me out with the shoot.
What modifier did you use here? Did you
That's
use a
what I yeah.
modifier?
So I just you're talking about yeah. I use the translucent umbrella as the modifier for this. Yeah, that was
Just yeah,
basically
okay,
all
so
I
just a
used.
translucent umbrella. Wow, this is
Just the
nice.
translucent umbrella. Yeah.
This is nice. So yeah, the shoot through umbrella. Stunning. Okay, let's I'm just gonna give me a second. Also Shashi. This was also out
Yes,
in the country, right?
that was also out in the garden. Yes. This I actually used natural light. I think I turned her
Oh,
around and yeah, that was natural light. That was natural light.
no,
Definitely,
this
that
is
was
lovely.
natural light. Yeah.
Even the amount of detail. What lens did you use here?
This I used an 85 mm lens to try and get that close detail and that very milky kind of foreground background separation. 85 is the
Yeah.
best for these close up shots. I wouldn't even chance it with 24, my 50 mil, or any other lens. 85 is just going to
Just,
hit you that
just
sweet
for the
spot.
viewers, what camera are you shooting on again?
So this shoot was done with the A7 III. I have now upgraded to the Sony A7 IV. So yes, the
No.
Sony A7 Mark IV specifically,
Yes.
but this was the Sony A7 Mark III.
Nice, absolutely nice. I know the A7 IV is a nice camera, eh? Absolute
Yes,
beast. Yes. Look at this. How did you light this up?
this was you. This was in Suncoast Hotel. I basically got lower to the ground to show address. What a stunning young client! I think this was a metric dance. I used a 8200 in a softbox, placed it not too far away, and just lit her up. And she just loved the light. The light was just hitting her dress perfectly, and I just knew from that scene, because it's a very dark room, just a bit of full light would do. So I basically didn't have to stop my power down too much, and yeah, it was quite a simple shot to take.
Okay, there is a few more that I'd like to get into, but I'm actually just gonna give me a second. I'm gonna take this down for now. All right. Yeah, those are actually really stunning pictures.
Thank
Very
you.
well done. But the A7 III is also an awesome camera. But
Yeah, awesome. Definitely
I
awesome.
think how you use it also, it comes right down to the person and how you shoot and the
Yeah,
experience. So
totally.
you can be using the best camera out there, and if you don't have the experience to back up that, or you don't have the knowledge on how to obviously take good exposures, it means nothing.
Mm,
Like the example here is the fact that you shot those with the TT685. That's a speed light. I think if you have to go and take those pictures and go and throw it in some of the groups and say, "Hey guys, this was shot on a speed light," many of
mm,
them would not believe it. They want to be like, "No, you have to have a 8200, you have to have a 8600, you have to shoot with an
yeah,
8600 Sherwin, and then you're gonna get some nice pictures." No,
yeah,
it's all
yeah.
about, and this is something that I've obviously,
Mm,
this is something that I've continuously told myself throughout my photography journey is make do with what you have. And as you work hard, you will get the things you want. So I've shot with speedlights. I've shot with the speedlights that were actually terrible at the time. Other brands, by the way, not Godox. The moment I made the switch to the 685 and from the 685 to the 8200, from the 8200 to the 8600, it's been a beautiful journey. Um, but making do with what you have, like in your case, you actually showed how you can take some really amazing images with just a speed light, and that's
yes.
really well done.
Mm.
So what would you advise a newbie in the industry? Just to cut you short, what would you advise a newbie, someone
I
that's
I
starting
think
up?
there's so many different things that go through your head when you become a newbie in this industry, and I think a lot of people, I think some of them even probably watching this video, when I speak to them over time, they come in and they just want to leave the industry. I always say just stick with it, because it's never easy at first, because you sometimes it could feel like you don't know enough, and you want to try out other kind of things, and you're trying to find out what's your market. I say at first, find your style. I think the main thing is find your style, find your niche market. Some people will tell you to try out everything. I don't think you need to try out everything. I don't think you need to put yourself out of your comfort zone to an extent where you start hating what you're doing. I think find a niche market that you know you can live with,
Mm.
find a style that works for you, and you can see that people are appreciating that, and then you're on your way. And also be able to talk to people, and communicate with people, and meet different people in the industry. That also really helps you grow. And I'm very thankful for the people in my life who's helped shape this. The people that I served with at church, the photographers that I started working with in the beginning, all these different wedding photographers who took me for every single wedding, Hindi, Tamil, Christian, Muslim, so
If
many
you'd like to
stunning,
give them a
beautiful
shout
first
out,
weddings.
if you'd like to give those photographers a shout out, here's your platform.
Sherwin Pata, designer image, first and foremost. But yeah, there's so many different people. I mean, there's UVK Photo, Trevor Pillay, one of the main idols I have, the head of Durban Christian Center Media, an amazing director, comrade Mtua, it's just been such an amazing journey with him. NVV, National Video Vision, Tyrone Kamal, Tufail Ali, one of the best videographers around. I think just like learning and grabbing bits and bits of knowledge from every single one of them has been incredible. And everyone has their own style. And if you're talking about even weddings, composition, cavo, I mean, look at lighting, Amir Ismail, phenomenal. All of these people are just so phenomenal, and there's so many names I can mention, and I'm just like losing my mind just even thinking about it. And I'm just so grateful that all of these people are around, and they're always willing to help out and show different things, and just learning and getting bits of knowledge from everyone. The main thing is you have to find out what you want out of this industry and your purpose in this industry. Because for me, I'm always trying to, and the thing is, I'm never planned my life out such that I said 5 years ago I'll be exactly where I was. I just said I wanted to be happy where I am, and even though I didn't know where I was going to be, I think I am pretty happy with the way that the industry is going and the way I'm trying to adapt to it and to develop in it. So yeah, it's been a pretty amazing journey. So just appreciate the journey, because as a newbie you're going to think that you need to be at a certain place, but even from quote from a movie, in fact, even when you get to that place you'll still probably feel the same way. So sometimes just forget about where you're at and just enjoy it.
That's actually something that's so true. And this is the same thing with money. You tell yourself, hey, if I can just earn X value, I'll be good. And
Mm,
before you know it, you're earning X value, and you're like, hey, if I can just earn X, Y, I'll be better. And you're earning X,
exactly.
Y, you're gonna X, Y, Z, and it gets, how can I say it? The need will ever increase, and it will always change. You may want a certain thing now, and few years later, you'll find yourself you would have had that thing 10 times over, and it didn't change anything.
The
But
finish line
I
keeps
like
moving.
you gotta be happy. You gotta be happy with the
Mm,
with the journey and obviously the position that you find yourself in. Very important. Try finding contentment with what you have and what you're doing. But also, I got another question that I'd like to ask. What are
sure.
the three major things that you think would be vital to a successful photography or videography or creative business? What's the three major things that you would consider to be vital?
The three main things is in no particular order. I think knowing your markets, that's definitely one. Any business, take our creativity out of it. Any business, you need to know what's your target market. Target market is so important. You don't just post for the sake of just posting in a business page because you want to attract a certain audience. So definitely knowing your audience. Number two is your networking. As much as you can do this industry on your own, networking doesn't just mean, hey, I'm just going to go for meetings and just meet a lot of different people. No, knowing specifically what's going to help you out, being at different places is going to help you out. Site visits also counts as networking, just going to different sites and talking to people. And I think that kind of approach to it is gonna really help you. And lastly, like what I said previously, is knowing your purpose in the industry and knowing what kind of work you want to produce. You got to know that this is what I want to wake up and do every single day. You're gonna find days where it's not the best and it's not the easiest, but at the end of the day, like as much as I have a hard day at work with photography, I still sit up at nights falling asleep to watching a different tutorial, watching a different review, because I still love this industry. I love technology. I love what cameras are becoming. I love the fact that you can make a person smile with just an image, and I think just being able to do that, and I had some clients where I've had them cry just looking at the videos and stuff as well. And those are just phenomenal experiences. And I think you have to keep growing in it. Everyone has a certain purpose in this world, and that far outweighs any career and stuff that you would hope to achieve. Um, because, like we were saying earlier, the finish line keeps moving. We've got to find some sort of blissful dissatisfaction in what we're doing, where we want what we have now, we're happy with it, but we keep wanting more. And I think that is a good place to be at. Still being content with what you have, but you can still keep growing, because I don't think complacency works. And that's also a very important fact. Never ever get complacent in this industry, because things are moving way too fast. There's things, assistants and these younger people I've hired now, sometimes with shoots, that they know way more than me, and I'm like completely stunned. But the main idea is we let them run with it. That's the thing with any kind of business that you're running. Have people in your circle that that do things that you don't sit on top of them and try to understand. With any business as well, I think even in other industries that I've been in, I've noticed that that is the most successful businesses where you're not really delegating, but you're allowing people to grow and go in their field. If they know something better than you do, then you just let them run with it. TikTok is still something that's very interesting market, and we're seeing a lot of younger people on it. So if you have someone younger in your life that you don't know, if you're a photographer who's much more old school and you don't know, ask your daughter, ask your niece, ask your cousin, ask someone older, in fact, who knows this industry, and ask them, hey, I take cool pictures and stuff. What's trending right now on TikTok? How would I learn from that? And I think that makes the biggest difference.
No, I agree. I think, as you said, and never be afraid to ask for help.
Yes.
I promise. Like I like what you just said. Now you can even ask your niece. I can promise the people out there, especially some of the older photographers, your nieces and your nephews that's 13, 14 and stuff. They know far more about what's the in thing right now. They know far more, like TikToks and your Instagrams and all. They know it like the back of their hand. So the market is completely changing, and there's so much that's going on right now, and especially with the way we market ourselves as creators. So it's very important that we obviously stay ahead of the curve. Before I actually obviously close up for the day, of which we have almost reached our time, I'd like to obviously just go through some of your images, so just so people can see obviously um, how amazing your work is. Just give me a second. I'm just gonna open it. I'm gonna go through. I'm just gonna toggle through them quickly, and if there's anything that sparks your interest, we can stop at it, and you can tell me if you'd like to tell me
Sure.
exactly what was your thought processes behind those images. Okay, so how's this? This was shot in studio. I'm assuming, obviously,
Clothing
in
Junction,
studio.
yes, that was the brand. This is called an action shot. So in studio, when we're shooting for Shopify and these other platforms, we do a few shots. The action shot is a full length shot of them um, interacting with the outfit. So this was a full outfit that they were selling as a set. And this is Carla Peterson, an amazing model. Even her sister is pretty amazing as well. We shot this in studio, increased the shutter speed, got it to balance on her toes, and had a one light setup. In fact, just to add some good dimension to the image. It was pretty amazing to shoot, and I just kept it as high as possible so there wasn't any reflection coming in. And yeah, that's basically how I got that shot. Quite an
just
interesting
just for
one.
the people who don't know, all right, and I'm glad you actually mentioned the brand because I would not have mentioned it otherwise. But you do a
Yeah.
lot of work for Clothing Junction as well, so people actually may not have known it, but they could have walked
Yeah.
into a mall and into Clothing Junction and seen your pictures all over the place and not
I
known
actually
that
want to
you
mention
shot.
that. I actually want to
Yeah.
say something. Yes. So Clothing Junction. So a big thing with Durban is there's a lot of head offices in Joburg. In Joburg, Joburg, Durban, and Cape Town. But all the
Mm.
work in all the Clothing Junction stores, just as a side mention, the images come from here locally in Durban. So
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
knowing what to do with those images when you're shooting it makes a very big difference because you could do something on location that you haven't done in studio, so you got to know where to balance. Like these will go online, but some of these images will actually go onto their billboards and stuff which are in the stores. So if you walk into any of the stores and you see on these images, just give a shout out and stuff because you'll probably see an image that we shot here in Durban. So just trying to rep Durban a bit. Yeah, this is all the studio work and all the banner work comes from Durban. So yeah.
No, exactly. Because I know I walk into Clothing Junction a lot, especially because my wife loves to do shopping. She just loves shopping, and Clothing Junction is nice. Uh, so when I walk in and I see pictures of him, I'm like, ah, Joel shot this. Ah, Joel shot. Joe must have shot that. He must have shot that. Your work is amazing, bro. And as I said,
Thank
it's
you.
it's
Thank you
actually
so much.
it's worth being on all of those platforms. So you're doing really well, bro. Yeah, I think especially
Thank
for
you.
a Durban photographer, you're doing really well. You're doing really well. There's also another one for Clothing Junction. That's a
Yeah,
stunning one.
same day, same settings. I remember we used the same thing. This was Nikki, one of the ambassadors that I think with Clothing Junction as well. She's doing phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal with them. This was just to that chair was just lying around. We just threw it in just to show that outfit better. I think it came out quite stunning, especially with the colors. Very subtle, very very chic and very light and airy. I also wanted to mention, very different to how I usually shoot my studio stuff. So I quite
Yeah.
enjoyed shooting that. Yeah. Akiri Lawrence, amazing artist in Durban. Sorry, in Johannesburg. He came down for a studio shoot. This was a very interesting shot. So what do you want to this? We used these pictures for his new song that's released. I will definitely put it up on Instagram if anyone follows me. This shot was done in studio.
Before we forget, can you please share with the viewers your socials? Where can they find you
Oh
before
yeah,
we
so
proceed?
thank you so much. So you can find my personal page on Instagram at Joel the Creator. My email is Joelab Media if you ever want to reach out to me, and my Instagram page for my business is Joelab Media. So it's JOELAB Media, and Joel the Creator is my personal Instagram. I'm very responsive on both, depending on what time it is, but definitely I would always love to link up with you guys. But yeah, so the Ikiri Lawrence, I actually shot this with a 24 mil. Now, people don't know shooting wide isn't always the best for portraits, but what I just asked him to do is instead of sitting down, which would make you quite narrow, I asked him to pick his hands up, and he created this kind of cool emotion in the shot. And because the
Yeah.
24 mil is so wide, it just brings in so much more in the image. And I had an 8200 bouncing, not bouncing, hitting him directly with a softbox, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that was that image. Yeah.
Stunning shot.
This was a client. The bride's name was Nikki. This was shot in Shanga train station, 8200 afternoon. No, it wasn't 80. Was it 80? Yes, it was the 8200 or it was the 8400. No, it was the 8200. 100% it was the 8200. I can just see. So that was the 8200. I had a 24 mil on. I saw that platform once, and on top of that, I knew that I had to bring it into the image. It basically was just a look of comfort between them. They just got married. This was their creative shoot. They wanted to go on a train and just escape from the world, and it just looked like that. And I really wanted to bring that up. And because the sun was setting behind them, there wasn't much lighting on them, so this was lit solely on the 8200.
Just a quick one for the people. What lighting do you have?
So I have
What? Yeah.
so
Can
my
you?
main so we'll just do photography, but in photography it's 8200, it's a V1, and I still have that old faithful TP685. Those are my main strobe lights.
I know the 8400 is actually quite nice, eh? I know even
It's
with
quite
that
a handy
Godox
light.
mount, especially with that Godox mount that it has, it's such a light mount compared to your normal Bowen's mount. It's so much lighter, more compact, smaller. Same thing with the
Exactly.
8300. Very nice. Very nice.
Yes.
This was recent. It looks like Florida Road.
It is. It's on the side of Flora Road. Very good eye there, Sherwin. This is on the road where Lupa is. It's a side road, and that side road has
Yes.
some amazing trees.
Yeah, it's the side road where Lupa. No, Lupa is just
So
up the
there was a
road there.
side. Yeah, so you got the side road. Then this was another turn in the side road. This is basically just like a pathway that leads onto Florida itself. If you go onto
Yeah.
this road here, you can see it's very harsh lighting behind it. This was the middle of the day. This is sometimes some of the worst time to shoot because you got harsh shadows. I just used
Mm.
my 8200, put it on power 1:4, and I just because I had an increased shutter, I had to come very close with my lights, and my lighting assistant did phenomenal here. Just had it just above the head, which you can't see in the shot, but this was shot with the 50 mil and that light there. Amara is one of the most stunning models that I've worked with. Very, very talented. Just has such a great look to her, and she's also a stylist, so she put these outfits together. In fact, and yeah, I just want to give her a shout out to Amara Basa. This was one of the images that we shot on Florida, amongst others.
What modifier did you use here?
This year was a 90 centimeter softbox, octobox.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Also Amara, nice, lovely.
Yes.
Look at the model.
Yes.
Was this shot on the A7R4? Sorry,
A7.
A7 IV.
This was just the A7 IV. Yeah, this was the A7 IV, and yeah, it's got so much of detail in images. 33 megapixels. I don't think you'll notice much difference with the 24 megapixels in the A7 III, but it's such a great camera to shoot. And just how I said before for a kitty shot, I
Let
wanted to
us let
use
us
something.
just say this, right? Let us just say this: the A7 III is a legendary camera. It,
Oof.
it, it deserves to be put up there with some of the greatest cameras that are out. We'll say that. The A7
I would
III.
say it changed. The A7 III did really change the industry, and I think it was a phenomenal camera. I still have mine, and I love it to bits.
Nice.
Lloyd Sele. This is one of my first ever professional shoots. I reached out to one of my friends, one of my best friends, in fact, Wayne Rangasamy, amazing musician, linked me up with Lloyd Sele for a shoot, and I was just in awe of him and all he's achieved. And um, that smile on his face just tells you the kind of character he is. That's how he is, always smiling. Amazing performer. If people don't know, he was a run-up on Idols and a phenomenal singer. Booked out everywhere. He's in so many different bands and groups and releases singles all the time. Phenomenal singer and phenomenal person as well. He was down for some time in Durban because he does reside in Johannesburg, and he hit me up after a few years and of shooting, obviously, and we linked up and we got the shoot done. This was at Ilangeni. This was lit with just the V1. There's not much space to work over there, so it had to be a very quick shoot. So I used a V1, bounced it up, and got that shot done.
No, that's definitely awesome. Your pictures are stunning, and your work, and especially with your understanding of lighting, it's really, really, really good. To see what you've
Thank you
been
so
doing
much,
with
Joel.
feedback. Well done. Yes, it's well done. And I'm glad, obviously, the people can actually see. If there's any questions that our viewers have, and if they'd like to ask Joel, please ask now. I'm going to be closing off the live shortly. We've actually went over time, and I'm sure we could easily do 2 hours. We can easily do
I'm
2
pretty
hours.
sure we got it. That was my one fear for this call. I just knew it could go further.
Okay, we've gone beyond our time, but I'm just gonna give us I'm gonna give a minute or so to any of the viewers that would like to ask a question. They can ask you a direct question. But thank you so much for joining us today, Joe. I really appreciate it for
It's my
obviously
pleasure.
making the time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, man. Yeah, it was just incredible just connecting with you again and just doing this call, man. It was so nice to connect with you.
I think mainly just to get the people out there to obviously see you, and as I said, they must obviously follow you. I'd like for them to follow you, drop you a message, even maybe hashtag you in any of the speedlight photography, but just tag Joe Lab, just so they can obviously use you as
Yeah.
inspiration. But thank you so much for joining. I don't have any questions at the moment. That's on obviously from the viewers. Got quite a few comments, but yeah. But thank you so much for joining, man. I really appreciate it, Joe. I will definitely like to have you sometime again. We'll have maybe a different discussion at the time, but we'll make time obviously. Okay, so Carl Daniel says definitely we'll connect after the show. Thanks, guys. So Carl,
Sweet, man.
recently. We had Carl recently a few weeks ago, and he's also an amazing photographer. He does some really
Wow.
nice lighting work. He uses a lot of the 8300. So
Oh,
definitely,
wow. Lovely.
we will communicate again. I will contact you for another. Maybe we need to do a shoot. Maybe we need to set up a shoot and maybe go live on Godox SA while we're doing the shoot. Run some
I think that would
behind the
be
scenes.
incredible.
Let them see
That would be
exactly how
incredible.
you go about shooting, and maybe we can both obviously shoot in tandem, get some models, maybe shoot on location, or maybe even in studio. We could definitely set
Yeah.
something up
Yeah.
like that. All
I
right,
would
but
absolutely
Joe,
love
thank
that,
you so
Sherwin.
much.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
Pleasure,
so
man.
much
Thank you.
for
Thanks for having
joining
me.
us.
Thanks,
It was
Godox
a pleasure.
SA. Yeah. Shout out Godox.
Shut, bro. I'll see you.
Thanks. Sweet. Bye.
Cheers. Cheers. Okay, guys, so that's the end of the episode for today, episode 4 of Fstop Live. As I said, it's a show that's out. This is going to be obviously every Friday. We're going to have this and invite photographers, videographers, creatives, artists, people who are out there that's obviously changing the game, people that need to get their names out, people that I feel obviously need to have some sort of attention from the industry and from the people in the photography community. So we will definitely use this platform. We will invite people over. We will share their work. We will show exactly who they are and what they do. and get you to obviously connect with these people, and so you can get to know them. And um, obviously, I feel as if, there's so many more people that there's so much more people that obviously need that chance, obviously, to be able to come out on a show like this, just to be interviewed, to be motivated, and to move on and to do bigger and greater things. But our market, the South African photography community, and the market alone is definitely big, it's broad, and we are really talented. So I feel strongly about this when I say that yes, there are some really talented individuals internationally, but nationally, we've got some really talented individuals. So Godox has obviously made it a mission to get these people out there, to obviously support them and to back them up, and to obviously show the world that, hey, the South African community is big and we can really do something. So if you are liking these shows, please drop us comments. Let us know how you feel. Do like, do share, maybe follow us. You can follow me and on my social feeds. You'll find me at Sherwin Papa on Facebook. Just if you want to Google me, just Google me. If you are looking to purchase any of your products from Godox SA, do use my discount code. It's Godox Sherwin, and you'll get a 10% discount on all of your purchases. If you want to link up, if you want to drop me a message, you can contact me. Let me know how things are going on your end. But thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it.